Hello and welcome back to the Self-Actualization in the Age of Crisis chapter summary series. I'm your host, Ron Rivers, and today we're going to be discussing Chapter 3, Deep Freedom, Liberty, and Democracy. So let's start this video with some brief definitions. Liberty specifically refers to personal agency, right? The individual's capacity to act within the world. Democracy is a political technology intended to support collective agency, the collective's capacity to direct the flow of their time experience. Now, today in our immediate present, most of the democracies around the world, especially in the United States, really represent the monarchies that they were intending to escape during the formation of their government. And in many ways, we as self-actualizers are confronted with the same challenge of revolutionaries past. We know a more expansive humanity is possible, and compelled by that knowledge, we seek to create change. However, the institutions surrounding us resisted on all fronts. Now, from the perspectives of the founders of the United States, democracy and democratic organization are a threat to individual liberty. They were specifically concerned, as wealthy individuals, how democracy might impact total free market economics, which they very deeply tied towards individual liberty. They wanted a democracy, but not a democracy that would answer to the majority. So to that end, that's when they engineered this constitutionally limited government with several branches of power to slow the pace of change. So through the lens of our immediate present, we recognize why nothing ever gets done in the US is because it was never intended to be a vehicle for rapid change, for resolution. It was intended to actually stifle progress in favor of the status quo. One example is the Electoral College, which is an institution that was invented to solve a problem that we no longer have. It was originally intended to help solve the issue of getting consensus. So, during its inception, both transportation and information were extremely slow in relation to our immediate present. So they feared that the delegates wouldn't get in time and it would cause a ton of slowness, so the Electoral College was invented. Today, it serves no purpose and has oftentimes, at least within my lifetime, denied a president based on popular vote the victory. Now, the founders could not have predicted the scale and scope of our technological ascendancy, but that doesn't absolve us from identifying the issues with their frameworks and then improving upon them. Prioritizing individual liberty in a time of crisis is extremely dangerous, especially when we inhabit economic and political systems that empower the billionaire God King to monopolize verticals of society. Today, extreme liberty for the few correlates to the lack of liberty for the vast majority. And from that, that's really how we identify how limitations to individual liberty are not the extreme boogeyman or not the ultimate evil that they're often portrayed to be. Our core values, in alignment with the relational universe governed by the single truth, reject in its entirety the subjugation of one individual group for the benefit of another. At the same time, we do recognize that equality of outcomes is both undesirable and not really a feasible political plan. Through the lens of the crisis, our most direct path towards deep freedom is the expansion of democracy and programs like public works like the 8 dignities. In many ways, we apply our core values, right? Our core values of relation to the other to kind of support these programs and restraint, limiting our personal wants in favor of shared equity and bigness.